Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very crowded O'Rourke's Public House. This is when you can tell things are going really well. When the Irish are on the road and all those outsiders aren't here, the loyal, true fans still turn out on a Thursday night before the renewal of one of the longest series in Notre Dame history. The 86th time Notre Dame and Purdue will get together, and they're not going to get together again for a while. So this is a series that has been full of upsets, and I know that is something Coach at his press conference just moments ago joked about when asked how do you avoid a letdown. He goes, well, we started talking about it after the game on Saturday, and we kept talking about it on Sunday, then a little more on Monday, talked about it more on Tuesday, talked about it on Wednesday, talked about it today, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. So they're going to make sure that this team does not take a Purdue team that is struggling just a little bit. Please welcome Coach Kelly in any way, shape, or form lightly. As always, Coach's schedule very busy. We keep mentioning that press conference, so you have to feed the media horde first before you get over here. But he does a great job getting over here. Talk about what you saw from your team in practice this week.
Well, you know, you're always concerned coming off a big victory against Michigan that you're not going to get the kind of attention to detail that's necessary to win any football game that you play. So I was pleased. You know, they didn't go away from what they've been doing. There was good energy. There was you know, the kind of preparation that's necessary for you to be successful. So I was pleased. Now look, you know, you're always going to be concerned leading right up to the game, but our guys did the work necessary for them to be prepared to play Purdue, and now we'll have to go play. I mean, you still have to block and tackle and catch it and throw it and do all those things, but there won't be any excuses relative to the work. You know, I'm a big believer you get what you deserve, and if you don't put in the work, if you don't put in the time, you can't expect to get the benefits on the other end if you don't put in the work. You can't wish and pray and hope it's going to work out if you don't put in the work. And our guys put in the work this week, so I expect us to win.
You have talked many times, we all have, about you've got the toughest schedule in the country, but you have a great phrase you've been telling the team this year. You don't rise to the occasion, you sink to your preparation, which is, I think, one of the great, not just motivational phrases, but great indication of what you need to do to be successful.
Yeah, when you look at our schedule, if you rise to the level of your competition each week, you're going to have a letdown. But if you sink to the level of what your preparation has been and you rely on that, then you've got a chance to be successful each and every week. So that's really what we've talked about. That's been our mantra this year. It's been on the back of our shirts and our workouts because it's about that. It's about when you're playing Purdue, you're going to win by sinking to the level of the preparation, not because, well, it's Purdue and it's not Michigan and it's Stanford and it's not Rice and it's Florida State and it's not whoever. So the point that I'm making is it still comes down to that preparation and how you prepare each and every week. And so if you keep it at that level, it's my experience that that's the best way to operate, and so far so good.
And in addition to listening to the coaches as you prepare, studying the game plan, but a lot of that is effort. You have to work hard in practice each and every week, regardless of who you may be playing that week.
Yeah, and you know, effort shows itself in different ways. I mean, for us, effort also is in the time that we, you know, put into the game plan, our guys in watching film. You've got to know your opponent, too. It's not just, you know, what you do, but you got to know your opponent. So that effort has to show itself not just on, you know, we have another phrase that's over the top of the door in our mudroom before you go outside. Don't confuse activity with achievement. And that means just don't, you know, you can't just go out there and run around and and say, well, you know, I worked hard today. Well, did you have a purpose? And our guys understand that when they come out to practice, there has to be a purpose to their work. And that means they got to know their opponent, and they've got to know the game plan, and they have to understand. So those two things together, right? The preparation part has to equal something. It can't be, well, I prepared, I worked really hard today. Well, what does that mean?
What did you do?
Well, yeah, exactly. Did you just run around for 3 hours? Well, if you just ran around, activity is not going to prepare you in the right way. So we actually give it some teeth with you got to be purposeful in what you do. And I thought our guys did a good job this week. And there's no reason why we shouldn't go and play our very best against Purdue.
There's no question you were exceedingly pleased with the way your team played against Michigan. But on Sunday, I know, at least I was a little surprised when you said when you broke the film down, a defense that broke Michigan's 365-game scoring streak also made 34 mental mistakes during the course of the game.
Yeah, well, we do a lot of different things defensively, especially in our, third down sub packages, and we've got a lot of young guys out there, and so there are some mental errors. But I will qualify it by saying that, we graded out from that standpoint against Rice at about 56%, and we jumped to 64%. So we're getting better. Even with that amount of errors, we got better from Rice to Michigan. That just tells you there's a long way for us to go, and we can play better.
You talked in the offseason about you felt your team needed to score more points this year to have the kind of success you think they can have. Well, in 2 games now, you've scored 79 points. That's the highest total a Notre Dame team has scored in the first 2 games in 40 years.
That's a good start. That's a good start, and I think that we're going to have to continue on that clip, because if you look at the teams that we're playing, we're going to need to score some points. Our defense, obviously, shutting out Michigan was outstanding, but we got to pump the brakes a little bit. We got a lot of young guys back there, and we get a couple of injuries, which are part of the game. We're going to put a lot of guys in there that are not, at the level necessary to play championship football, because they're just inexperienced. They'll run around and they're eager and they're excited, but they're not ready yet. So we just got to be careful. Hopefully we'll stay injury-free, but injuries are part of the game, and we've got to be good on offense, and we've got to score a lot of points this year.
We have lots of questions, as always, from our audience, and I also want to make enough time for you to get to meet 2 of my favorite players on this team in Cody Riggs and Mathias Farley. But I want to wrap up this segment by something you tweeted out this morning. This is September 11th. It was 13 years ago today that our country was attacked and everything changed, and you tweeted out, "Thank you to those who risk their lives to protect our freedom every day and remember the men and women we lost 13 years ago." And I think this is a day we all paused a little bit to think about what happened 13 years ago and what happened since. And I remember how the country came together right after that.
Oh, there's no question. And it's come, for me, it was a it's like everybody has those moments where they were and what happened at the time. It's become more real for me after I've gotten a chance to know a good friend of mine, Jimmy Dunn, who, one of the managing partners of Sandra O'Neill, who lost, virtually his whole team on 9/11. Jimmy is one of our trustee members and a dear friend. And, we're reminded of the red bandana that BC, the story of the red bandana that BC players are going to be showing on their helmets about a young man, a Boston College grad that, went up 3 or 4 times to save people. Those acts of heroism, are part of 9/11. So what I remember most is the acts of heroism and those people that stood tall during 9/11. Certainly the tragedy, but I think today's a great day to remember the acts of heroism on 9/11.
And when you mention Jimmy Dunn, I've been told the story. He has taken care of every single family who had an employee who they lost that day.
Yeah, amazing man.
A lot of people have stepped up. We'll be back with more of the Brian Kelly Radio Show right after this first timeout.
You're listening to the Brian Kelly Radio Show. Right now, the coaching staff isn't thinking about where to buy their next set of tires. If they were, they could go to TireRack.com to find the right tires for their cars and get them delivered to an independent recommended installer. But the coaching staff isn't thinking about tires. They're thinking 34 bunch left, halfback wide, Z-slant, Y go, on 2. TireRack.com. Find, deliver, install.
Sometimes life throws you for a loop. You get injured on the job, tear up a knee playing sports, or are forced to undergo surgery. Then what? Fortunately, there's ATI Physical Therapy, an official sponsor of Notre Dame Athletics. From the second you step into one of ATI's over 300 locations, you'll see that ATI is taking physical therapy to a higher level. You do have a choice in physical therapy, so ask your doctor about ATI and find the clinic nearest you at ATIPT.com. ATI, taking physical therapy to a higher level. Get there.
This is your life. Live it well. South Bend Orthopedics.
Zach Martin of Notre Dame football was determined to stay in the game.
In 2012, I had a pretty bad high ankle sprain. The SBO docs were the first people to check me out. The biggest thing for me is their availability. SBO doctors, they're always there after practices and in the training room. I was looked at very closely throughout my career here and can attest to a lot of that success and staying on the field to those guys. This is my life and I'm living it well, thanks to South Bend Orthopedics.
We have batteries, brakes, mufflers, and more at your auto value parts store, where service is the difference. We get it.
We've got Rain-X Premium Windshield Washer and De-Icer, just $3.99 a gallon. Trico Exact Fit Wiper Blades, now only $7.99 a piece. Pennzoil Conventional Multi-Viscosity Motor Oil, just $4.99 a quart. And don't forget, you can always order parts online at autoparts2020.com. All that and more at your neighborhood Auto Value, where service is the difference. We get it.
Join us at O'Rourke's Public House, home of the Brian Kelly Radio Show, to cheer on the Fighting Irish before, during, and after all home games. O'Rourke's Irish Decor, delicious menu items, and wide variety of beer selections are sure to enhance your game day experience. Bloody Mary Bar and Breakfast starting at 8 a.m. on all home game days. And O'Rourke's is the official Notre Dame game watch site for all away football games, featuring raffles and promotional prizes. Enjoy watching the game on one of O'Rourke's 15 TVs, including a 92-inch projector screen. O'Rourke's Public House is located directly across from Notre Dame's football stadium at the corner of Angela and Eddy Street in the Eddy Commons Center.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House, presented by TireRack.com. Now, how many of you are heading down to Indy for the Purdue game? All right, if you are doing that, don't miss your chance to meet Notre Dame football legend Rocket Ismail at the Travelers Chipping Challenge on Saturday. Located at the Notre Dame Fan Fest at Pan Am Plaza in Indianapolis, Ismail will be on site from 4:30 to 6 p.m. chipping for charity to help travelers raise money for the Kelly Cares Foundation. Visit the Travelers Chipping Challenge from 11 until 6 p.m. on Saturday. You can participate as well. Travelers, it's better under the umbrella. For a quote, visit travelers.com. Now, Coach, they forgot to mention one other competitor. Rocket will be chipping against your wife, Pocky.
That's right. That's right. And she has new clubs. We got her new clubs.
Have you been giving her some pointers?
No, but I've been cleaning the grooves like a good husband does. For her clubs, I keep them clean, so if she hits any bad shots, she blames me normally because I haven't cleaned the grooves. So they're clean, and she will chip the ball very well. So I think she'll be raising a lot of money for charity. So if we get over there, and she's a pretty good chipper with her driver. I'm trying to get her to use a wedge. I think she's going to use a wedge for this challenge, but you know, Byron, she kind of does what she wants to do, doesn't she? So we'll see what happens. I think Rocket might be able to talk her into using her wedge.
Well, if you've got the grooves clean, she should be able to spin it, right? On the green?
She doesn't know what the grooves are.
All right, we got lots of questions. Knopf is here from Westchester, Ohio. Coach, how does Everett Golson contrast to Zach Collaros and the success you had with him at UC?
Well, they're similar competitors. They both have strong arms. They're both very smart. I think Everett, in terms of his ability to just throw the ball with incredible pinpoint accuracy, I think he's probably a little bit more accomplished as a thrower of the football, Everett. But both great competitors. Zach played outfield for the Cincinnati baseball team. Everett could probably play a number of sports. They're both phenomenal athletes. I think the thing that stands out for both of them, both winners, and great competitors.
Go back to 2012 and the Everett of today. How has he gotten better?
Well, physically he's more developed. So, I think, if we think back to 12, I was afraid to run him at times because if he got hit, if you remember, for those that watched this in 12, he came out of the game, I think, on 3 occasions after some big hits, especially against Stanford and Pittsburgh. Today he's physically, in a different place. So that's one thing. Secondly, he's a more mature young man. I mean, I think he handled the adversity that was in front of him and is a much more mature person because of it. And I think that has reflected itself in the way he plays the quarterback position.
Landon's here from South Bend. He wants to ask a question about the Shamrock Series games, and specifically at the venues where they're played. How are the players' lockers assigned? Do they get a choice, or is it random? And he's thinking about Tommy Reese getting Jeter's locker when you played at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, what Ryan Grooms, our equipment manager, really tries to set up is seniority in the locker room. So, the veteran players are generally going to get the best opportunities for lockers. And when we played in Yankee Stadium, it was going to be the quarterbacks and the seniors were going to get, top billing for those. And then I think Ryan Grooms is not a guy that is adverse to being bribed. You could certainly bribe the equipment manager. And I think that's probably how, because Tommy Reese wouldn't have got that locker without something.
All right.
That's for sure.
Tommy's going to be down in Indianapolis this weekend. He's going to be one of our guests on the pregame show you can watch on WatchND and inside the stadium. We'll ask him. Beth is here from Houston, Texas. Considering all the hype that accompanied the game, what did you say to the players at halftime of the Michigan game to keep them grounded, even though the score was 21-0?
Oh, it's just that, what we normally need to do is come out and play with great enthusiasm in the third quarter, because that's how we finish things off. When you play football, you don't play 2 quarters. You play 4. So they're conditioned to come out and continue to play. And, it was a big game, and there was much more left to play for. It's the 3rd inning, the 5th inning. It's, half the game. So the guys were just reminded to continue to do what they do. And I thought they did a great job, especially our defense. I mean, in the third quarter, they took the ball away 3 times in the third quarter, set up our offense, and gave us an opportunity to get 10 more points.
Tim is here from Lowville, New York. Coach, in your job, how many nights do you have to spend on the road, especially outside the season when you're recruiting?
Well, during the season, I'm certainly not on the road at all. But after the season is over, probably the biggest time away is that last 3 weeks in recruiting, which would be leading up to the first Wednesday in February. So you're talking about the last 3 weeks in January. I'm probably on the road 4 or 5 nights a week for about 3 weeks straight.
Jane's here from Lowville, New York. I guess an interesting question. I know you're busy. I don't have much time to read books. She'd like to know, what is the last book that you read?
My last book. Let's see. That's a good question. I can't even remember the last book I read. Abraham Lincoln on Leadership. That's been that was last summer.
No, I understand. I read my first book in 2 years this summer. It was a Tom Clancy book.
Yeah.
And you have to have some time to read a Tom Clancy book because they're long. Derek Vanslager is here from South Bend. Coach, how many Blazer jackets do you own?
Let's see. 4. 5. I have 5. Trevor, my tailor from Cincinnati, came to my home in the spring, and I had more than 5, and he said, "You can only have 5." So we gave the other ones away. He said, "You can only have 5. Any more than 5 is a waste." So I have 5. I know that exactly.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Everything's coordinated that way.
Everything's coordinated.
Because I don't like to think. I know when I go to my closet, I want to know that goes with that.
Pick that out. Yeah. Pick that out, and you're done.
You're done. Jerry Liss is here from South Bend. How do you grade your team after winning your first 2 games?
How do I grade them? I love the energy they play with. They play fast, and they have fun. And so, those are great marks. Those are all A's, right? So I think there's a lot to learn. We got to continue to get better in the technical aspects of the game, but the big picture things is they play fast. They're exciting to watch, and I'd grade them out high right now because of that.
Bill's here from Granger. Coach, having come from the defensive side of coaching and playing, would you comment on the change of speed on that side of the ball since you got here 5 years ago?
It's pretty – it's a big difference. But we had to. I mean, that was the core change here at Notre Dame was recruit speed. And, you can't win championships unless you develop the team speed on defense, and we're closing that gap quickly.
Janet Comerford is here from Mishawaka. She would like to know if you would consider growing a goatee like Coach Van Gorder.
There's only one Coach Van Gorder. I mean, I can't. I got to let Coach Van Gorder wear the goatee, and he's got his own deal going. So I don't want to infringe on any of that. There might be copyright on that too. So I don't want to get in trouble on infringement.
And certainly he is a very intense individual. He's a heck of a coach on the field, doesn't let you get away with any kind of a mistake. But I think you made some interesting points. The nation saw him fired up a couple times, especially later in the game on camera. But you pointed out earlier this week that really during the game on the sidelines, he's really quite reserved and calm most of the time.
No, he's great to work with, and I've worked with Brian before. I love working with him on the sideline because you can have conversation and discourse, not when he's making a call, obviously, not when he's talking to his defense, but I can have conversations with him in between calls, and we can talk about field position or timeouts or, things that we want to do, and that's because we have a long relationship. So I enjoy it, and he should get fired up when his defense is playing well. I mean, if you can't have fun playing this game and be enthusiastic about what you're doing, then I don't know what you should do. I mean, so it doesn't, for me, it doesn't change the way that we coach, and I think it does a great deal for the energy for our defense. I think it's a great thing.
A couple guys who I know are fired up about what they're doing. Why don't you talk about our two guests going to be coming up after the break?
So Cody Riggs and Mathias Farley. I'll start with Mathias. Mathias now is in his third season of competition here, and he's done everything for us. He started as a wide receiver here, and he was too good at wide receiver, so we had to move him over to defense. His skill set just cried out defense for us. And he's played, a great deal of football for us. He's a veteran of a 12-0 football team.
He's your leading career tackler right now with 106, 26 more than anybody on the team.
Leading career tackler. There you go. And he had quite a few big tackles on Saturday. And so, he's played a lot of positions for us. He knows exactly how to play in the big games. What I like about him is that nothing really bothers Mathias, in the big atmospheres. He's the guys look up to him. He was probably our most vocal guy in this game against Michigan. Played his very best game of the season, and he's a great leader for us. He's respected by all the teammates, and really liked by all teammates and coaches. And he's probably the only guy that rivals me in being Natalie attired. He's a good dresser, too.
If we call him up here, he'll get that fly that's bothering you during this show. He'll get it in a second.
And then Cody Riggs. Cody's been outstanding. He came in, as a post-grad, really. He got his degree from the University of Florida, and he's entered into our master's program, our accelerated master's program, which is obviously – you guys can understand to be in our master's program, what a challenge that is academically. He's handling the incredible academic challenge here at Notre Dame and playing great football for us. So, he's a special young man that can handle both those, and he's returning punts for us, starting at corner. And again, just fits in so well with all the players. He's got a great personality, great competitor, and I don't know where we'd be without him, so it's just great to have both these guys with us.
And you will get a chance to meet them right after this timeout on the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.
Ace Maytag, the store that service built.
Dave Ramsey here. Folks, because your home is your largest investment, it just makes sense to maintain it. My friends at Ace Maytag can help. Besides being the largest home appliance center serving North Central Indiana and Southwest Michigan, they have this huge scratch and dent department that can save my listeners some serious cash. And Ace Maytag offers on most appliance sales free delivery, free setup, and removes your old appliances. Plus, unlike many of those big box stores, Ace Maytag has their own factory-trained service department. We're talking one-stop shopping, folks. So don't wait. Add value to your home today. Go see my friends at Ace Maytag.
Ace Maytag, the store that service built.
Ace Maytag is located at 810 East McKinley in Mishawaka, less than 1 mile east of Grape Road. And be sure to tell them you want to see the Ramsey Scratch and Dent department.
If your money is not earning at least 2.5%, you need to call Professional Life and Casualty Insurance. They're offering a 2.5% APR on new funds deposited into your annuity, traditional IRA, or Roth IRA accounts. Rate subject to change. Please call to confirm. With Professional Life and Casualty, you pay no surrender charges and no administrative fees. They've been providing insurance and annuity products for over 50 years. Visit plcinsurance.com, plcinsurance.com. Call during office hours and speak with a live person. They'll send you a free guide to tax-deferred, no-fee annuity. A 2.5 APR return on annuity, traditional IRA, or Roth IRA, and you pay no surrender charges and no administrative fees. Only from Professional Life and Casualty. Call 1-800-651-1800. 1-800-651-1800. That's 651-1800.
Prices plus tax, title, and license. All Ford rebates to dealer must be financed with Ford Motor Credit Company. Financing with approved credit. See zford.com for complete details. Offer expires at month's end.
Kick off the football season behind the wheel of a brand new Ford during the Great American Tailgate at Ziegler Elkhart Ford. Score big with our lowest prices of the year. New 2014 Ford Focuses only $14,983, or new 2014 Ford Fusions only $17,998. Plus, get 0% financing only at Ziegler Elkhart Ford or online at zford.com for a great experience.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's, presented by Tire Rack. To my right, Mathias Farley. To my left, Cody Riggs. You're about to discover two very well-spoken young men. We mentioned you were the leading returning tackler on this team. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You're 26 tackles ahead.
Surprise, surprise.
All right, you're always very humble when I talk to you. It's a big deal to be one of the key cogs here at Notre Dame. You were starting a lot. You're not now only because you're the nickel back, and they usually don't start in nickel. You try to figure out what's going on. But you're seventh on the team in tackles now with 8.5 sacks and an interception this season alone. But whenever I talk to you, you tell me you're like one of the underachievers in your family. So tell me why.
Well, you know, a lot of it stems from just fantastic genetics my parents had, and I'm the sixth of seven, so I think there's a dip as they got closer to me. But no, I have a very, very talented family. My little brother especially, he danced for the New York City Ballet Company. So he left home when he was 13, so it's like I was the de facto baby. And so I've always been living in his shadow. He's also 6'6", which is
that's large for
quite a
ballet
conundrum
dancer,
for me.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh. Has he taught you anything from ballet that helps you on the football field?
No, I don't think they. I mean, he wears tights and I wear tights during football games, so I think that maybe that's the carryover from the two, but they're very, very different worlds. But they have a ridiculous schedule, so I think, he's come up to games. I've gone and visit him and kind of seen his schedule, so it's definitely an intense world for both of us, but we definitely have a lot of respect for each other.
You have a brother who played professional basketball over in Europe, and you have two sisters, I understand, who are very successful in business. Yeah,
I do. Everybody in my family is very successful, all the siblings. My oldest brother, as you mentioned, Timon, played basketball in Italy. My brother Nathan played college football. My brother Keenan played college basketball. My two sisters are both very successful in business. One's in the home selling industry, and the other one's works for the Gallo wine family. And it's awesome to be a part of a big family, and we get really excited when each and every one of us do well.
Now, speaking of business, Cody, you are getting your master's in science business. That sounds rather complicated to me. What is science business?
Well, it's actually a Master of Science
in
Management. They changed the name. It's the Accelerated Business Program for non-business majors in undergrad.
Okay.
And it's just a way for me to get into the business world because I didn't major in that in undergrad.
Now, when you talk about it being accelerated, it means you're going to get what is normally a 2-year degree in a year while playing major college football.
Yes, sir.
How do you do that?
I don't have much time, as they know. You rarely see me throughout the day, but I show up around 3 o'clock and get there right before we get to practice. I have to have my meetings during my break between two of my classes. So I have my meetings by myself, and my whole day is pretty much structured. So,
in this year's defense, corner play is critical because you guys are aggressive. You have to be right on the ball at all times. You have 4 tackles as a starter and an interception. I think you don't have as many tackles because I don't think they're throwing at you that much.
Yeah, I didn't get much thrown at me first game. They came at me a little bit in Michigan game, and I was able to make some tackles and get some PBUs as well as an interception.
All right, how many people out here the last few years kept asking about the punt return game? Be honest, raise your hands. Well, here's the answer. He's already returned 5 for 69 yards, an average of just under 14 yards per punt, and he is tied for 17th in the country in total punt return yardage. You may not think you're doing anything special, but I know these people do.
Yeah, I should have broken at least 2 by now. I'm a little upset about that, but it'll come soon.
Now, I think Florida's watching now and thinking they might have made a mistake because I think these people assumed you did this at Florida. You only did it in practice. You returned 1 punt your entire time in Florida. You do seem to have a certain affinity for it. Now, did you do it a lot in high school, or is this just something you wanted to try?
No, well, I wanted to try it at Florida. I just never got the opportunity. I've always enjoyed catching punts or kicks, but they just felt like maybe I was doing too much at Florida. I was on kickoff. I was on punt. I pretty much played nickel, safety, corner, and maybe I was just doing a lot there. And I could see why they probably wouldn't want me returning punts. So.
Now, you certainly may be one of the longest recruiting projects in Notre Dame history because they recruited you really hard when you were coming out of high school, St. Thomas Aquinas down in Fort Lauderdale, which is kind of a Notre Dame pipeline high school right now.
Yes,
now, I asked you this on Media Day, on our Watch ND Media Day special. Do you remember what you told me? Because I've got it written down. You basically said, if I would have known Notre Dame was like this when I was recruited, I probably would have come back then. I truly love it here. Why do you like it here so much?
It's just the family. Ever since I got here, between Kavari and Mathias, they've made the transition so easy for me in the secondary. And then as far as the whole team is concerned, like I've told you before, it wasn't a day that went by in my first 2 months here that a teammate or at least 5 teammates came up to me, made sure I was doing okay, gave me their phone number, told me if they ever need anything, just come to their house. And I think that's what I like most about here, and the coaching staff as well. Me and Coach Alfred have had a good relationship since I was in high school, and that's just basically what it was when I told you that.
I mean, anybody who's met Coach Alfred knows what a great guy he is, but recruiting is very, very intense. And a lot of times when you say no to a school, they're not exactly all lovey-dovey. But I know really what Tony Alfred really wants for everybody is what's best for them. And that relationship continues with everybody he's recruited, even if you don't come here.
Yes, that's very true. He's just a good guy. And when I asked for my release papers, it felt good to hear from him when I finally was able to contact schools.
Talk to me about the challenge, because you can play corner, you can play safety. You're all over the field when you're in there. What kind of challenge is the nickelback? Because your responsibilities can change play to play.
Well, there's just a lot of working parts, so it all goes back to just communication. You're in communication with the inside linebackers because the nickel pretty much is a subbed in for the outside linebacker. So you're in communication with the outside linebacker, with the safety as well as the corner. So you just have to be on top of everything and know that there's a lot of working parts each and every play, and you really have to have a zoomed focus before every snap.
And you have to be tough. I think people may forget back in 12 in the Oklahoma game, you broke your thumb. You didn't miss a game. You played the rest of the year with plates and pins in your thumb. And I talked with Coach on his TV show this week. You know, Michigan had the ball, was moving it the first time they had it, and you made a huge play for a big loss that I thought really shut down the momentum they had in that drive on Saturday.
I mean, I'm not going to take credit for that. It was just a great play call by Coach Van Gorder, and everyone else is doing their assignment. And when you have that, 11 guys doing their job, it makes it a lot more fun, and you can just react because you're trusting everyone else.
It is a team game, and these are the reasons why Coach can take another segment off. We'll be back with more with Cody and Mathias right after this timeout.
Need the speed to power all of your devices? Xfinity delivers the fastest in-home Wi-Fi, so everyone can do more of what they love to do online. You can't do that with UVerse. Get the fastest in-home Wi-Fi today, or get started with Economy Plus Internet from Comcast for as low as $19.99 a month for a whole year. See for yourself. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit Comcast.com today. Offer ends 9/30/14. Restrictions apply. Limited to new customers. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply.
Hey, this is Papa John. A new NFL season means a chance to mix things up. Fantasy teams, game day rituals, and now pizza toppings.
Your choice of any 2-topping large pizza is now just $10. Add a delicious mega chocolate chip cookie for only $5 more. Up your game with the kickoff special. Order now at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Official pizza of the NFL.
Limited time offer not valid with any other coupons or discounts. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. Additional toppings extra.
Like so many soldiers returning home from combat, adjusting to life as a civilian hasn't been easy for retired Army Staff Sergeant Ben Dellinger.
The hardest part was getting out. You don't lose your friends, but basically all those people get taken away from you all at once. It felt like my life was over at times. Everything I thought I was totally different.
American heroes like Ben face many challenges when they return home. That's why, for more than 90 years, Bank of America has partnered with military organizations to support jobs, housing, and critical needs of veterans and their families. We're also committed to recruiting and hiring veterans, reservists, and military spouses. And for Ben, we partnered with Military Warrior Support Foundation to award his family a mortgage-free home.
This is something I never expected to happen, and I'm truly grateful to each and every person involved.
To find out more about Bank of America's efforts, visit bankofamerica.com/military support. 2013 Bank of America Corporation. Bank of America, N.A. member FDIC.
We have batteries, brakes, mufflers, and more at your auto value. Parts store, where service is the difference. We get it.
We've got Rain-X Premium Windshield Washer and De-Icer, just $3.99 a gallon. Trico Exact Fit Wiper Blades, now only $7.99 a piece. Pennzoil Conventional Multi-Viscosity Motor Oil, just $4.99 a quart. And don't forget, you can always order parts online at autoparts2020.com. All that and more at your neighborhood Auto Value, where service is the difference. We get it.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, presented by TireRack.com, live from O'Rourke's Public House. Shamrock Series game this weekend. It's your first, so I'll throw it to you first. What have those games been like for the players to play in?
I know that the Shamrock Series jerseys get a lot of mixed reviews from a lot of people. But for us, the players, it's just it's an awesome experience to be able to represent Notre Dame in a different way, and the jerseys we wear, and guys get really excited about having that slight variation, or sometimes more than slight. But guys, it really adds a lot of energy to the whole experience, and I think it creates a really, really fun environment just for us to be able to wear something different. And like I said, represent Notre Dame in a different way.
What was your reaction when you saw the uniforms for this year?
I liked them a lot. When I first saw them, I thought the helmets were really cool. I didn't get to do that back at Florida. I think we did it once my freshman year. We had some alternate uniforms, but I get excited for alternate uniforms.
I think most intense football fans or coaches, I had the same reaction to the Shamrock Series that I think Coach did. We're giving up a home game. Why? But now that I've been around it a little bit, it really is unique. And is it kind of strange for you? It is like a bowl game, only they only let Notre Dame fans in for the most part. You're in a different venue, but the majority of the folks in there are rooting for you. Is that kind of strange?
I feel like our fans travel phenomenally well to most games, but the Shamrock Series games, I think they draw a larger crowd. That people might, if they're going to come to one game, they might choose that one just because of the atmosphere that it's in or the setting it's in. It's usually in a different setting than here at Notre Dame or somewhere else. It's a neutral site, so I think that draws a lot of people, and it's just, like I said, it just builds that awesome environment.
What are you anticipating that Saturday's going to be like?
Well, I've never played in a game like this where it's basically a home game away from home. I'm excited for it. I've never been to Lucas Oil Stadium. I'm excited for it. excited to wear those uniforms. And, yeah, like I said, I've never played in a game like this, so I really don't know what to expect.
We talked a little bit about Mathias' family, but you actually have a family connection to Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
You say he's kind of an old guy now, right?
Yeah, he's very old. And he might get mad about me saying that, but he's pretty old now.
Bobby Brown is who we're talking about, a star here at Notre Dame a few years ago.
Yeah.
When the first time when you went to Florida, and certainly can't be criticized going to a great football program like Florida, but did Bobby have anything to say to you when you decided not to come here the initial time?
Yeah, he was a little upset, but his receiver coach here, when he was here, was Urban Meyer, and that was the head coach at Florida when I committed. He was he knew my entire family, and I mean, Bobby couldn't be mad about that. I wanted to play for him, and that was my decision at the time. He was a little upset, but it all came around full circle, so he's happy now.
All right, let's take 2 or 3 minutes here to play. Well, it's a 60-second drill on TV. Here it's 2 or 3 minutes, but you can each answer any way you want. Player on the team most like you, Mathias?
I would say myself.
Well, that's true. Nobody's more like you than you.
Yeah.
He's a deep thinker, isn't he? Yeah, I knew that. Player on the team most like you.
Most like me. I'm trying to think. I can't even tell you. Could you answer that?
You haven't been here long
Yeah, I haven't
enough.
been here long
Cody's a
enough.
lot like me.
You're incomparable.
I would say me and Thias are pretty much are alike. So.
All right. Favorite sport to play other than football, Cody?
Basketball.
Golf.
Are you a good golfer?
No.
I know.
Yes, he is. Don't let him lie to you. He's being humble right now.
I got a nice swing, though.
All right. I guess there aren't a lot of nicknames on this team, I found out. What's the best nickname on this team, if you can think of one?
The best nickname?
Ham Porter for Sam.
Okay.
I go with that, yeah.
Best player to room with on the road. And you
my roommate Cole. We don't snore.
That's huge. That's
yeah,
huge.
Neither of us are snorers, so Cole's a pretty good roommate.
Toughest player to tackle on this team?
I would say Cam McDaniel, honestly, because he's incredibly shifty and he will run you over hard. So it's a real toss-up what he's going to do.
Hardest player to tackle on this team? Who I don't know.
I mean,
probably Greg. I think Greg.
Cam
it's either Greg
either
Greg or Cam.
The running backs as a unit.
Phrase you hear most often from Coach Kelly in practice that you can say on the radio. No, that's not fair. He does. I mean, we talked about this before. I don't hear a lot from Coach in practice anymore that you couldn't repeat.
Well, we're on the defensive field.
Yeah, we're on the defensive
so you know.
But when you're okay. So see, you're quieter this year. They don't hear you over on the defensive field now.
It doesn't say too much. I mean, I'd say the one thing he says more than other things would be as it relates to.
That's very. He has a degree in political science. Yeah,
Coach Van Gorder.
What are you
Come on,
doing?
Yeah, what are you?
Come on, young player. That's his go-to.
All right, best singer on the team.
Everett
for sure.
Yeah.
Worst singer on the team.
Matthias.
Worst singer.
For sure.
Kavari.
Yeah, Kavari's bad too.
Best dancer on the team.
Torrey Hunter Jr.
Chase.
No.
Yes.
Chase. False. No,
Definitely Chase.
No. He tries the hardest.
Backstreet Boys over there.
Yeah.
Worst dancer on the team.
Chase.
Okay, I sensed this was going there.
Yeah, Chase.
Best comedian on the team.
Jay Hayes.
Jay Hayes.
Jay Hayes is hilarious.
Person who thinks he's a comedian but really isn't.
Chase.
Chase, yeah.
Player on the team most likely to become a football coach.
Gummy Van Gorder.
Okay,
yes.
that makes sense. Best dresser on the team.
Thias.
All right, this is the first thing he's given himself. I've seen it. He does clean up well. Worst dresser on the team.
It's definitely an O lineman.
Yeah.
Just big guys.
Yeah,
big guys dress horribly.
The big guys. Yeah.
It's harder for them to get clothes. Though.
Yeah.
They want the uncomfortable stuff. Sometimes comfortable stuff isn't all that.
Yeah, it doesn't look that
isn't
good.
on styling.
Yeah.
Folks, if you want to rate the dressing of the team, go to the walk on Saturday morning because they all go in their finest studs, and it can be entertaining. Finally, best thing about playing for Notre Dame, Mathias first.
I think it's playing at Notre Dame is one of those things that you come knowing what you think you're going to get, and you get so much more just from the community, from the people, the school. And then just like the lifelong connections you'll make and people you'll meet. You know, guys come back here all the time. There's a fantasy camp where there's a lot of former players, and it's just a bond you have with somebody to have gone through Notre Dame, whether you played a sport, whether you didn't. It's just really, really special, and I think it has a huge impact on your life, and if you can appreciate it while you're here, it makes a huge difference.
Mathias hit it right on the head. It's the environment, the people that you meet while you're here. I can't even count how many people I've met, new people I've met on a daily basis that just want to talk to me and give me advice and help guide me as I finish this last year of my football career in college.
You know, folks, everybody in the athletic department works long hours, and this is why. You get to work with fine young men like this and see them go on to do great things. Cody and Mathias, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
We're back with more of the Brian Kelly Radio Show right after this.
Prices plus tax, title, and license. All Ford rebates to dealer must be financed with Ford Motor Credit Company. Financing with approved credit. See zford.com for complete details. Offer expires at month's end.
Kick off the football season behind the wheel of a brand new Ford during the Great American Tailgate at Ziegler Elkhart Ford. Score big with our lowest prices of the year. New 2014 Ford Focuses only $14,983, or new 2014 Ford Fusions only $17,998. Plus get 0% financing only at Ziegler Elkhart Ford or online at zford.com for a great experience.
It's going to be an extremely cold winter, so have Legacy Heating and Air give you an estimate on an Amana 96% high-efficiency furnace. With approved credit, you can be worry-free and warm for as low as $49 a month and get up to $2,470 in instant rebates on select Amana systems. Go to LegacyHeatingandAirInc.com or call 855-273-8444 for details. That's 855-273-8444. Legacy Heating and Air, a Cook family business.
Get that designer look with solid wood molding at the Molding Outlet in LaPorte, located on East Lincoln Way next to Al's Supermarket. Save hundreds on their entire inventory, including baseboard, crown moldings, chair rails, quarter round, and ornate mantels. Molding Outlet now carries unfinished real oak flooring and solid decorative pine moldings. The Molding Outlet has several varieties of wood and MDF products, including factory seconds at huge discount pricing. The Molding Outlet is now open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 8 to 6, and Sundays from 8 to 4. When you own a small business, time and money are always tight, and your responsibilities are endless. Let the UPS store on Portage Road be your all-in-one small business resource center. You know they're the packing and shipping experts, but they also print everything from business cards and invitations to presentations, banners, plaques, name tags, yard signs, and more, plus full postal service as an approved postal vendor, mailboxes, notary service, faxing, bill paying, and more. Let the UPS store on Portage Road, home of the everyday 35-cent color copy, be your small business resource center.
It's football season, and that means tailgate. Join 960 AM and 96.1 FM WSBT for the tailgate at Ivy Court. Fisher's Tips and Chips Barbecue will be providing food for the first 150 people. You won't want to miss out on this fun tailgate. 960 AM and 96.1 FM WSBT's tailgate is sponsored by
Honda and Triumph Shop of Michigan City, Jets Pizza, SouthBendInvest.com, and PHED Mobility.
Leave the tailgate to 960 AM and 96.1 FM WSBT and Fisher's Tips and Chips Barbecue at Ivy Court this season, and we will see you game day.
Touchdown!
We are back on the Brian Kelly Radio Show. Coach Kelly back up here at O'Rourke's, a show presented by TireRack.com. How proud are you when you see your players carry themselves like that in a live public venue?
Well, that's why you coach at Notre Dame, to get guys like Cody Riggs and Mathias Farley, because they're fun to be around. They're smart. They're intelligent. And they're fun to coach. So, you get guys like that. That's what makes my profession a lot easier on a day-to-day basis.
And they were so well-spoken. I now have to get 4 minutes of commercials in the next minute. So we're taking another break, and we'll be right back. Next 5 minutes.
You're listening to the Brian Kelly Radio Show. Right now, the coaching staff isn't thinking about where to buy their next set of tires. But if they were, all they'd need to know is TireRack.com. They stock over 1 million tires and can have yours shipped to a trusted, independent, recommended installer in as little as 1 business day. But the coaching staff's not thinking about tires. They're thinking, how should we attack the cover two when the defense brings us safety into the box? TireRack.com. Find, deliver, install.
At Great Clips, we think great is simple, so today we have one simple message. Here goes. Use Great Clips online check-in to save time on your haircut. And to make sure this message can withstand any distraction, say it while holding this dynamite.
Use Great Clips online check-in to save time on your haircut.
You see, simple is effective. Let's try it again. Release the Headless Horseman!
Who? What? Use Great Clips online check-in to save time on your haircut. You're not even real. Come on!
Download our free app or visit greatclips.com. No more waiting around because now we'll be waiting for you. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
St. Joseph Regional Medical Center is one of the most wired hospitals in the country. You might be asking, why adopt all this new technology well before other hospitals do? Because it helps our doctors and nurses provide a higher level of care. Because it keeps our patients safer. Because it's what we're called to do. That's why.
Join us at O'Rourke's Public House, home of the Brian Kelly Radio Show, to cheer on the Fighting Irish before, during, and after all home games. O'Rourke's Irish Decor, delicious menu items, and wide variety of beer selections are sure to enhance your game day experience. Bloody Mary Bar and Breakfast starting at 8 a.m. on all home game days. And O'Rourke's is the official Notre Dame game watch site for all away football games, featuring raffles and promotional prizes. Enjoy watching the game on one of O'Rourke's 15 TVs, including a 92-inch projector screen. O'Rourke's Public House is located directly across from Notre Dame's football stadium at the corner of Angela and Eddy Street in the Eddy Commons Center.
That was our final break, thank goodness. So we have a couple of minutes here to talk with Coach to wrap this up. And as we've mentioned, this show is broadcast live on Watch ND. It's a 2 or 3 camera shoot, and we have a bunch of folks in Ireland who stay up to watch it. One of them is David Doherty, who is always tweeting and emailing me. Coach, the Shamrock Series, what about taking it to another country again? Hint, hint, might help recruiting. I know that in the near future at some point, Ireland is on the radar.
It is. Our trip there was just, it was more than great. It was fabulous. Everything, the way we were treated while we were in Ireland, and just the atmosphere. Being in Aviva Stadium, it was just a terrific trip. And if we can bring a couple of those lads back with us, those either hurling or rugby, maybe we'll be better off for it too.
We've got 40 seconds. Keys to the game against Purdue.
Well, first of all, match the intensity that Purdue is going to bring. They will bring a high level of intensity. We have to meet and exceed that intensity. If we do that, then play the game that we've been playing. And again, football is a game where you have to bring the mental and the physical. So match the intensity. The mental and physical will take care of itself, and we should be fine.
Coach, thank you very, very much. Folks, thank you very much. Hopefully there are some tickets still available for the game on Saturday, so don't be afraid. You can get them at the Notre Dame ticket office. You don't have to pay any fees. We hope to see a full house at Lucas Oil Stadium on Saturday night. For Coach Kelly, I'm Jack Nolan. Thanks for watching.